Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Giles here. Okay, so you have all gotten your grade for your first art appreciation for your first art analysis, and you have also gotten the information that I sent you, where I wrote up what you did wrong, what you can do to better do your paper, etc. There are a few things though that happened across the board. Okay, so I want to touch on those for you right now. There's a couple of things that not everyone, but a lot of people did, which brought your grade down a little bit, okay? So first things first, what is this art analysis supposed to be about? This art analysis should really be about you looking at an artwork, seeing what's in the artwork, and finding some sort of meaning behind it, okay? I want you to look at an artwork and think to yourself, okay, this makes me feel happy, sad, distrustful, whatever it may be, okay? It's not a big deal what it is that you think about the artwork, what you believe about the artwork. It's that you look at it and you find something in the artwork. How do we find some information in an artwork? Well, one of the things that we do is we look at the things that we saw at the beginning of the semester in the chapters, especially 1 through 4, right? When we think about things like elements and principles of design, okay? The vocabulary that we learn there, those are all important to finding meaning in an artwork. Here's where one of the big mistakes was, okay? A lot of you would just go in and say, I see these lines, I see those shapes, I see those colors, I see that value, I see that light, and just list off things in the artwork without having any sort of connection to what those things actually do, to what those things actually make you feel, to what those things actually make you think about an artwork. So if an artwork has a line, and hey, heads up, y'all, almost all artworks have some sort of line in them, okay? But that line has nothing to do with what you think about an artwork, then maybe it's not even worth mentioning that line, okay? Now, if you see that an artwork has a lot of diagonal lines and it gives the work movement, and that movement elicits in you a sense of tumbling over an edge, now we're talking. Now we're thinking to ourselves, that artwork makes me feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel like I'm falling over. It has so much movement, and that movement can be found in the lines and in the shapes, maybe in the color, okay? So you see that difference there. Not just this painting has lines, this painting has shapes, this painting has this value, and then saying, this painting makes me feel happy. Well, how do those lines, how do those shapes, how do those make you feel happy, okay? So be aware that just listing out all the things, all the elements and principles of design is not necessarily going to make it a better paper. In fact, if referencing those exact elements doesn't actually lead you to what you're thinking, it actually does a disservice to your paper, okay? Now you've just wasted a paragraph that you could have spent talking about the important issues, the important themes of the artwork. So please be aware that you want to make sure that the things that you're pointing out in the artwork, the elements, the principles, those are all, you're picking them out because those are specifically helping you find some sort of information on an artwork, okay? Next thing, that's actually the biggest one that I've gotten, okay? That's actually going to be one of the biggest things that you're going to improve your papers by being more focused on the information you're finding here, okay? So the next thing also is research, okay? Research for these papers is a good thing. Research is not the most important thing necessarily either, okay? This paper's not about giving me a biography of the artist, okay? It's not giving me about the history of the relations between China and Japan, unless the painting is maybe specifically about that. It's not even necessarily doing the research about certain art movements. Those things can help inform your feelings on an artwork. So yes, it is good to, for example, on the exhibition that was in the gallery by John Hendricks, read over his artist statement and see that he's talking about certain aspects about memory, certain aspects about depression and loss and loneliness. Okay, that's an important thing to know so that you can look at the artwork and think to yourself, how does this reference those kinds of themes? And then having that idea in your head and maybe helping you become, get a better, deeper understanding. So if you've read that and you've seen that and you reference it and cite that in your paper, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. But we don't need research on every single aspect of an artist and their work. Now, if you do a lot of research and that helps you, that's good. You don't have to include everything in there, though, necessarily, okay? So the research is a good thing to do, to know what an artist is talking about, to know what an artist kind of does with their work. But make sure that, once again, all of these things that you're putting in that paper are referencing what it is that you feel about the artwork, okay? What you think about the artwork. Which leads me to the third thing, is not having any sort of idea about what the artwork means to you, okay? A couple of papers that we did see where basically people would just sit there, cite some information from an artist's website, and then they would just, make a list of the things. I see shape, I see color, I see line, I see repetition, all these things, and then say, that's a great artwork. Well, but you didn't tell me what was good about the artwork. You didn't tell me what you thought was good about the artwork. Ultimately, these papers are about what's special to you about the artwork, what it is that you enjoyed about the artwork. So I want you to look at these artworks and start to think to yourself, how can I maybe improve this? How can I maybe switch some things around to make this a little bit better, okay? So I think that's what I want you to take away from these, from my comments that I gave to you. My comments were specifically tailored to what you had written. I tried to circle out a few things where, maybe you were giving information that wasn't necessary, or maybe you were missing the mark. So read those over. I sent those to you as a PDF where I had written on your paper, and then I scanned it and sent it to you. So please look those over. If you have questions, let me know. Now, in terms of the current grades, if you're looking to maybe increase your grade a little bit on this paper, okay, feel free to go ahead and re-edit your paper, okay? And then send it back to me. And then I will go over those and look at that, okay? So please make sure you do that. I know some of you are a little bit, worried about your grade, where it stands. Remember, I haven't finished grading your midterms yet. This should be done by this weekend. So that's going to change your grade. That's going to change the grade as well, okay? So please don't get too crazy. We're here to help you. So if you have any questions, please let me know. And if any of this is confusing, send me an email and we'll get back to you, okay? If you have any, I guess I already said if you have any questions. So now that I have no more questions and more things to say, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. You all have a good weekend.